Okay. Let's talk materials. So we will need our handy dandy 3.5. That is a must. We will need a stitch marker. That's pretty standard for us. We need yarn needle. You will need some plastic safety eyes, 2 of them. I used a size 10, which for me is right here, for the eyeballs of our sloth bag. You will need some scissors. You are going to need some yarn. I do believe that is one of the last materials. We have one other. So we're going to need some white. This is going to be for the stripe and the face of our sloth. You're going to need some black. This is going to be for the nose and the mouth. You will need a darker brown, which is what I use, and that's going to be for like the shadow of the eye of our sloth behind our plastic safety eyes. And then I use this tan brown for like the majority of the body of my bag, and that kind of simulates the body of the sloth, right? The last thing we're going to need are these keychain clips. I use these guys because I thought it'd be really cute, and I have, as you can see, a ton of them. I use these for my keychains that I sell in my shop, so I have these on hand. As I say with all my videos, if you don't have those and you have a different type, use what you have. If you have a strap, those are for the strap. If you have a strap laying around from an old bag, use that. So go ahead and use what you have. If you don't have those clips, that's totally fine. Use what you have. And I think that is it. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right. To start, what we're gonna do is grab our brown yarn, and we are going to chain 22. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22. Next, what we're going to do is place our stitch marker so we know what we started. We are going to do 20 single crochet starting in the second chain from the hook. So that's for me right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. And after 20 single crochets, you should have this weird looking stitch left, or chain left. That's the first chain. In our chain of 22, you're going to put 3 single crochets in there. So 1, 2, and 3. So now what we're going to do is turn our chain over, and we're going to crochet on this side of our chain. So we're going to do the same thing on this side, 20 single crochets, and then 3 single crochets in that last stitch. So for me, I'm going to start here. 1, 2, I'm going to tighten that up. 3, 4, that one's going to hurt me. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and then I'm going to do 3. That last little weird looking thing. So 1, 2, and 3. So for rows 3 through 20, we're just doing 1 single crochet in each stitch. And this is just going to give us a little bit of body to our bag. So literally just 1 single crochet in each stitch. And I will meet you back here. I don't think you guys want to sit and look at me as I do rows 3 through 20, but you're literally just doing 1 single crochet in each stitch, and we're not done after 20 rows. We're actually just going to change our color. So if you want to kind of be proactive and meet me with your color already changed, go ahead and change your color after row 20 so that we can begin with our new color for row number 21. So I'm just going to do this, and I will meet you back here once I am there. Okay, so I have done rows 3 through 20, the single crochets, and there should be 46 single crochets in each of your rows. And I say that because make sure that you don't start out with 46 and then end up with 52. So make sure all of your rows are consistent with the 46 stitches. So I've changed my color, and I'm just going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch again for rows 21 through 27. So an additional a couple of rows just to give us some body, and this is going to be like the stripe in the face of our sloth. So go ahead and do this to row number 27, and I will meet you back here. Alrighty, this is what I'm looking like after I've done the white for rows 21 through 27. I am going to go ahead and change my color again. We're going back to the brown. Where is my stitch? There it is. And I'm going to switch to my brown. Go ahead and cut this white. Move that out the way. I'm going to move my stitch marker and gather my tails. Where'd the white one go? There it is. All right. And if you've seen my videos in the past, you know that I crochet over my tails just because I don't like to weave in ends at the end of my projects. And so the way that I crochet over my tails, at the end I literally just have to cut my tail, the loose ends of my tails. And it is a freaking lifesaver because I hate it. I hate weaving in my ends. So if this is your first video and you're watching my channel for the very first time, what I mean by crocheting over my tails is I just get my tails, I put them in the line of my single crochets, and I literally just crochet over them. Because I mean, that's essentially what you're doing anyway when you weave your ends in, right? So I just do it as I'm crocheting. That way I don't have to go back and do it when I'm done. And so yeah, this is a lifesaver. If you want to try this hack, go for it. If you are a weaving person and you want to save it to the end, then you do that too. You do what works best for you. While I sit here and try to figure out what I just did. This is what happens when I start yapping. This is why I don't yap when I crochet. But I'm going to go ahead and do rows 28 through 31 in this brown. This is going to be the final rows of our bag, and then we can move on to the eyes and the face. So go ahead and do this, and I will meet you back here once you're done. Alright y'all, so after row number 31, I went ahead and I fastened off because we are done with the body of our bag, and this is what we're looking like. So it should be rows 1 through 20 should be that brown, that initial brown color. Then we have rows, what was it, 21 through 27 was our white, and then 28 through 31 was our additional brown. So we are done with the body of our bag. It is a cute little thing. Look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. And now we are going to start with the eyes of our bag. All right, so now what we're going to do is the eyes. So for sloths, they have like this brown shadow-ish thing behind their eyes, and so that's what we're going to do right now. All right, so for this, we're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Next, we're going to do 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to do 2 single crochets in that final stitch, which is right here. 1, 2. Flip our chain over. We're going to do an additional 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 single crochets in that last stitch. And we are done with that part. I'm sorry, slip stitch, and then we're done, because we don't want that little unevenness to affect the way our eyes look. So then fasten off. I'm just going to pull that tail to make sure that little gap right there where we put those 2 single crochets are solid. Okay, so this is our eye. We're going to make 2 of these. I've already made my other one. This is what they look like. And so the way these fit onto our bag is we're going to do them slightly slanted. Just like that. And I'm gonna grab some plastic safety eyes, because I do want plastic safety eyes on mine. I think it just makes the bag pop a little bit more. Be mindful, if you do use the plastic safety eyes, it might be a good idea to kind of burn the backs, so that the pokey end of the plastic eyes aren't poking you when you dig inside your bag. This little end right here. A cool little trick is just to burn it and then flatten it, and that way when you reach inside your bag, you don't like poke yourself. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find that single crochet right before we did that that increase, and I'm gonna put my eye there just like that. I'm gonna find a place on my bag where I think it looks nice, and I'm just gonna poke it through so that it's on the back of my back, just like that, and then put the back on. Now if you're a person who needs like exact measurements or exact, let me push this in, if you need like exact stitches, let me do this one for you. So I'm gonna put my plastic safety eye. Again, I'm gonna look for that stitch where we did that. Well, the increase happened right here, so I'm gonna go right into that little hole with the increase, just like that. And in terms of the stitch, it looks like I am on the second white row down, and the eyes are about, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 stitches apart, if that helps at all. Just like that. So hopefully that appeases the person who needs like exact. If you're not that type of person to eyeball, it's completely okay. Everybody works differently, so I hope that helped a little bit. Alright, so that's what I'm looking like. So now that my eyes are in place, they're held in place by the backs of the safety eyes, I can go ahead with my yarn needle, and I can sew to keep the rest of the eyes in place, because right now they're kind of flapping all over the place. So I'm gonna grab my needle, thread my needle, and for this one, remember, I sew over my tail, so I can actually just cut my tail from the body of my work. If you did not sew over your tail, if you didn't crochet over your tails, you can't do that. You're gonna have to weave that in also. But for me, I definitely crocheted over them, so I was able to cut them and nothing is gonna unravel. Okay, so I want to take my yarn needle and I want to just attach this guy into my work, and I'm just pulling up a single crochet, going back into the next single crochet, and then finding a stitch in that white. I'll do it a little bit slower and a little bit closer. So I'm going into a stitch, I'm going into the next stitch, and then I'm looking for just a row to put this in, and then bring it up in the white, just like that. I'm just going to do this all the way around for both eyes. Alrighty, this is what our sloth is looking like so far. I dig it, I dig it, I dig it. I still haven't weaved this end in. I told you I hate weaving in ends. I'm gonna wait till the very last second to do that. Okay, so what we need to do now is the face on our guy. So we have sort of like the shadows behind the eyes. We have the plastic safety eyes for the actual eyes. We need to add a nose and a mouth. So what I'm gonna do is I'm looking at the 1, 2, 3, between like the third and the fourth rows of the white if you're counting from the top down. It's like right there for me. I'm gonna go into the center 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches. I'm gonna make a nose on our guy here, and I'm just gonna take my yarn and go back and forth. Just like this. Just a couple of times, maybe like, I don't know, 4 times, just to make the illusion of a nose. And making sure I pull that tail so it's uniform. So that was 2. Where am I? Right there. This is 3. I think one more should do it. It might actually look nice. Let's see what 4 looks like. Oh yeah, I like 4. Okay, so I did 4 passes on mine. And I'm just gonna cut this long tail. I'm gonna go ahead and knot this on the inside. And you can't see this, and I'm so sorry. I'm just knotting it a couple times so it doesn't come undone. Just like that. Alright, and there's our nose. For our mouth, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the same black yarn and we're gonna make the mouth with it. So I'm just gonna do like a sort of like a V shaped smile. So I'm gonna look at where our nose is. I'm gonna go 1, maybe 2 rows down. Just like this. And I'm gonna go 1, 2 stitches over. And what I'm going to do to make the V is I'm going to go into that stitch right below in the center of my mouth. Right, like about there maybe. I'm going to go through the top of the line I just made for my mouth, just like that. And I'm going to go back into that center stitch, just like that. And I'm gonna pull, and that's just gonna give us a little bit of a V. And so I need to pull this other tail to make the V a little bit more pronounced. So you just kind of play around with them, just like that. And I'm gonna do the same thing I did with the previous one, cut my tail, and then just knot this on the inside. You will have some cleanup on the inside if you care. I mean, if you don't care and if it's just a bag for you, then, you know, go for it. But let me flip it like this so you guys can see there is a bit of cleanup on the inside. So I'm just go ahead and knot this. And if you knot it, you know, properly, honestly, you can just cut it and it won't come undone. But you have to make sure that your knots are pretty secure so they won't come undone. And there is the face. Okay, so to start the strap on our bag, we are gonna get, for me, I'm gonna do the dark brown yarn that we use for the body of the sloth. And I'm gonna grab this keychain hook that I'm gonna use for either side of my straps. So this is the first side of the strap. I'm gonna do a slip knot, but I wanna leave a pretty decent tail on this thing, and you'll find out why in a second. So I'm gonna do a slip knot, just like that. Then I'm gonna insert my crochet hook, excuse me, into the keychain. I'm gonna attach with a single crochet. Make sure you pull that thing tight. I'm gonna insert 2 additional single crochets. So that's what you should be looking like. And I'm gonna start my chains here. We are chaining quite a few. For me, I want 200 because I want this to be a crossbody bag. So this is where my 200 is gonna fit in. And I'll leave you to your own devices to do that, but I do want to show you what to do with this long tail here. So I want to make sure that this guy is secure on our bag and it can hold the weight of what we put in our bag. So what I'm going to do is insert my crochet hook into that first little single crochet that we made. So that way I have a hook on my crochet hook. I'm then going to go into that next stitch, do a slip stitch, and I'm going to do an additional like 2 or 3 slip stitches. That was 1, 2, and then 3, and then I can just pull my yarn through. You will need to weave this in because if you cut this as is, this guy will start to unravel. So you do want to weave this in to make it secure, and then go ahead and finish your 200 here. But this is essentially what we're going to look like. And then I'll show you what we're gonna do on the other end of our strap. Okay, so I've made it to 200 chains. Here's my chain for my strap. And so my hook is still into that last chain. And so what I wanna do is I want to grab my yarn, which I already cut. I know I didn't need very much left. I'm gonna do a slip stitch inside of the loop of my ring. I'm gonna do 2 single crochets inside of that ring. I'm gonna grab my strap. So I'm just gonna push this ring over, just like that. I'm gonna grab my strap and I'm going to do 2 slip stitches into my strap. That was 1, and that is 2. And now I can fasten. Well, I've already fastened off. I mean, I've already cut my yarn, so I can just pull it through. And what that does, it just gives us a little bit of strength in our in the base of our hook, so that it doesn't slip out. So we just have to weave this end in. All right, and so now what we need to do is to attach our clips to our bag. And we are done. There we go. That is our bag. Very cute, very cute. Okay, so what else can you do with this project? I mentioned one before. The inside, when you're looking at your plastic safety eyes, these things are pretty darn sharp. So what you could do is get a lighter. You melt this thing. Not the clear plastic, the black plastic. You melt it until it's like really sticky. You get a flat surface and you push it in so that it won't be flush with your crochet work, but it'll be flat enough to where you won't cut yourself as you're digging in your bag. So that's one alteration you can make. Definitely change the color. That's like my #1 alteration. Definitely change the color. I think a pink would be really cute. You can do like a sunflower type theme. Be creative. The strap is definitely up for change as well. I did a very simple strap, which is just a chain of 200. If you have something lying around like an old bag, that might be an option as well. Let's see, what else could you change on this guy? You could embroider the eyes. I like the look of the plastic safety eyes for this project in particular, but if you just don't want to fiddle with like cutting yourself on the back, or you don't want to flatten it or what have you, definitely could embroider the eyes. I would, if you're gonna make the eyes black and you're embroidering them, I would just make this brown a little bit lighter, just because the brown thread may not shine through as much with the darker brown. The black thread won't shine through the brown thread, I mean. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. This was really fun to make. This was a quick project. I did it this morning. I literally wrote the pattern and did this all this morning in a matter of like 2 hours. So this is not a complicated project at all. It's pretty much the same stitch, the same row, same stitch in just a long form. So I hope you enjoyed this. I thank you for tuning in. I pray that you're having an amazing day, and cheers to a successful and a relaxing and a safe and a productive week. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe. There's a lot going on in the world. Make sure you crochet some cool stuff and meet me back here.